They are the Division I ECC boys soccer champions. I'm with East Lyme coach Paul Christensen. And in a game like this, did you ever think there was going to be a goal scored? Or I mean, this was really a battle back and forth.
Yeah, no. Whenever we play Stonington, it's like that. As I was telling the other coaches the other day, it's a stone throwing contest. We went over there and it was one post to one post. It was 6 shots to 6 shots. Even last year when Stonington was a far superior team than us, we were up 1-0 at halftime against them somehow. It's always been a competitive rivalry. Even when I first started coaching way back in 1988, Stonington was at the top of the pile, and then we started creeping up in the early 90s and took over. We beat them, I remember, at Brybrook 1-0 in a very similar situation, So throughout our history of playing each other, it's always been very, very competitive and very low-scoring games.
We talked a little bit about you were the #1 seed, and a lot of people sort of lost sight of that. I feel like you guys flew under the radar a little bit this year, with Stonington, of course, being such a dominant program. But talk a little bit about the evolution of this particular team, which led you here now to an ECC championship.
Give me a heads up next time.
I appreciate the heads up, by the way.
Holy camole.
Nothing better than an interrupted celebration, but just talk about the evolution of this team that just dumped a bunch of water on you.
It really started last year. We struggled hard last year. I mean, we didn't score goals. I think it was 16 goals all season. We scored 9 in the first 2 games and very few of the remainder of the year. And it was really a building process because they were young and inexperienced. And we took our licks last year. But this year, once they began believing in themselves and built their confidence, and I told them that at the beginning of the year. I mean, we played Canton the first game. It was a very good program, and that's the only game this year we were outplayed. The rest of the season, we were more competitive than most teams, even though we lost a couple more, and usually had more shots. We just weren't finishing, even though the opportunities were there. And it was a confidence factor. It was a mental factor. And once they started doing that, they started believing in themselves. And this is what happens when you believe in yourself. I mean, there are some kids that play year-round, but there's some kids that play basketball or baseball or whatever, which I appreciate. Because, I encourage my kids on the team, I'm old school, play as many sports as you can. Have fun when you're in high school. And, to their credit, they came together. And I got to mention the outstanding leadership of these senior class, and particularly my captains, because that's what kept this team going and believing in themselves.
Well, you took my last question out of my mouth, because I was going to talk about your multi-sport athletes and how success in other sports brings them here together and how you guys evolved to here. But talk lastly before we let you go. This is goal 1. Goal 2, starts with the state tournament. What do you want to see out of this team after the dust is settled from this, from this championship? What do you want to see from them in the state championship?
I want to see them get healthy, number one, because it was a physical match against NFA, and I got 2 or 3 kids that were pretty banged up and played today with ankles and stuff. But I'd like to see them get as far as they possibly can. I'm not going to make a prediction of where we're going to end up being, because at times goals can still be hard to come by, and that's what's going to win games. But I think they got the competitive spirit, the energy, and the will to make a little run. That's what I'm hoping for, and where it ends up, we'll see. But they're a fun group to be with. They're a fun group to coach. They're a great group of kids, and as long as I can keep it going, we're going to keep it going.
Well, you are the Division I ECC boys champions, and you knocked off a premier program to do it. So congratulations and best luck in the States.
All right, thanks very much.